group. It's so cheerful to see all these colors and all the umbrellas. It's like a Prendergast painting. Come really close off the road in case there are cars that come by. So Mount Auburn is a landscape of art and nature in balance, and this is a really good example of the lichen on the 19th century Victorian marble memorials. The monument is washed periodically, but there's that kind of microclimate here with this tree, so that the lichen comes back and then it's washed, and the lichen comes back and then it's washed. The reason we're starting with this is because angels are much more complex than you would think. They're not just decorative parts of the Victorian cemetery. They stand for many different things, and sometimes many different things at once. And with this particular monument, this angel is a guardian angel that's bearing the child to heaven. But there's a more intimate story involved with this narrative, and that is that the mother of the child died before the child. So in the early guidebooks, in the descriptions of this memorial, it's described as a monument in which the mother comes down from heaven to bring her child back up to heaven. And so here the angel is functioning as a mediator between heaven and earth, as a messenger, as a guardian angel, as someone who helps us navigate our own complicated emotions around the death of a child. It's really quite a remarkable monument, because it also has an open casket. It's the only coffin I've ever seen depicted on a monument here, or no, there are a lot in Italy. The only one here at Mount Auburn that I've ever seen. So it's almost a literal depiction. It's a story that's being told, a narrative about the mother bringing the child and the soul of the child back up to heaven. There's a lot of verticality in a Victorian cemetery, and this movement upwards can also be seen as something that's inspiring to us, inspiring to the bereaved, comforting. And there's a very similar image, if any of you have been in Bigelow Chapel, in the central rose panel of the stained glass over the chancel. It's a very similar image of an angel bearing, we call them soul-bearing angels, of an angel bearing a child to heaven. And it's what Bigelow, Jacob Bigelow, our founder, chose to be in the stained glass because he thought it was most appropriate for a funerary chapel. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is a marble monument, and on top, it's a little hard to make out. There's a different kind of angel, a cherub, that's holding a sort of swag of roses and pomegranates. It's hard to see, but it's sort of, I think, from earlier photographs, kind of pulling the veil up also, so you can see. And that also sort of speaks to that, that liminal place of that transition from our world to the next world. Very Protestant Christian belief, Western Protestant Christian belief is represented in this narrative, but one that's really trying to assuage the mourner. So then another, the husband erected this monument to his wife and child, and he got married again, and he also had another child who's here sleeping. So this little one is sleeping, and that would have been also a very comforting, very intimate portrayal of a child, so pure and so innocent, and also the Victorian cemetery uses sleep as, a metaphor for death, and the child is having little his last sleep here.
did this occur in the 19th century?
This is 1850s. 1852, 1854. We have some photographs of this lot from 1860, and it was very ornamental. It was surrounded with a cast iron fence. It had statuary. It had vases planted with flowers, and it was not as simple as it is today. It's a beautiful example of the Victorian garden period, not the first period when Mount Auburn was founded in 1831, and the aesthetic at that time were very simple architectural monuments. But then as it became the 50s and 60s, there was much more sentimental ornament and very compassionate and emotional inscriptions and lots of symbolism. Any other questions? Well, I think if we keep our umbrellas up, it won't rain on us.